Good evening, good evening, good evening. You join me A to G for a rather warm one. Don't know whereabouts you are in the country, if in the country at all, but bloody hell it's warm tonight. Apparently going to be warmer tomorrow as well. Something to look forward to. Good evening Steve, Burnt Fry. Good to see you again in the chat. Just get myself all set up before qualifying starts. And then we'll do a proper introduction. So a bit of last minute practice going on here between the competitors. Just getting in a few laps before qualifying starts, and obviously the two races start. The two races tonight around Interlagos. The track in Brazil, I really like Interlagos. I think it's a bit of a Marmite track though. I'm not sure everyone likes it. The last corner is a bit of a bugger. It's fine when you get it right, but you get it wrong, and oof, steer wheel racing pushing it there. It really bites you. So yeah, should be an interesting one tonight. Interlagos. Evening, Carrington. How's it going, mate? Ghost Rider. Good luck, CRT boys. Quite a few CRT drivers in here, as well as Simfx, P1 and MRC drivers. NxtGen as well, obviously. It's hard to remember them all. So just waiting for qualifying to start really, so I'm not going to waffle on too much before we get started. Pretty sure the first race is 11 laps if I remember rightly. And the second race is 15 I think. So on for quite decent race durations here. 1 minute 30 lap time or thereabouts. Mrs. Miggins at the side of the track, love that name. Yeah, I'm not good, I'm not good. I'm all good, should I say, Carrington. I've already started with the mistakes, it's not good. Yeah, I'm not bad, mate, not bad at all. Had some pretty good news today, but I don't want to get into that, it's a bit complicated. All familiar faces other than Boonsy Bob. Interesting name. So he looks like if he's racing with us tonight, which I'm assuming he is if he's at this late stage of practice, and then he's in the AMG, but it's going to be his first race with us tonight, so it should be interesting to see how he goes in qualifying and the race. Only 10 guys in the going round at the moment. On track. Neutron storm a little bit wide, nothing to worry about in practice there. That's what practice is all about. Good luck to the drivers from Rick Austin. Yeah, good luck to them all. Been some really good racing in this championship so far, and it's been taken away by the top two a little bit. They've got 4 wins apiece, so it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, and if they get one each, it'll still be a draw, but if one of them manages to make 2 wins out of tonight, which is a big ask, not guaranteed to win obviously, but Burnt Fry and Steer Wheel Racing, if they can get a win tonight, then they'll have bragging rights over the other one. Burnt Fry currently our championship leader, but Steer Wheel Racing not far behind, chasing them away. There's a bit of a gap between the points after that. I will get it up later and go through that, but at the moment we'll just concentrate on qualifying. It's about to get underway by the look of it. 22 laps, that's, is that right? No, that's race 2. So race 2 isn't 15 laps, got that completely wrong, it's 22 laps. I'm really good at my research. Here we go. This is the proper settings. So 15 laps for the first one actually. I knew there was a 15 lapper in there. Got it wrong. First race is 15 laps after a 15-minute qualifying session. So, we've got some kind of glitch in the pits. Luckily we're not in a closed qualifying session, so if there is an issue, people can jump out and then jump back in. In fact, it looks like Cutler's about to start a proper qualifying session now. So everyone needs to make sure they can get out on track. Hope someone doesn't get caught out here by a glitch in the pits. I've had it myself a few times. So we've got 11 people in the pit, I keep getting that wrong, on the grid tonight. Lucky Bucky having a practice start, pretty wise. 15 minutes from now, so away they go. They're all on the out lap obviously, no one's got round to start a lap yet. So Burnt Fry's out in front, Phil G in second, Neutron Storm, they'll be coming over the line first to set their fastest laps, or their first fast lap should I say. Armin being followed by Mrs. Miggins. Oh my god, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes tonight, I can tell. Damien in sixth. Steer wheel, just giving a good look at everyone before we get underway. A Boonsy Bob, one to keep an eye on. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes. We've got 12 in the field now, so that's good. I didn't say pits that time, that was good. Be interesting to see how Cutler does here. Seems to have mixed qualifying sessions, but if he gets it right, he's right up there in the Audi R8. So we're on to a fast lap now. Let's go on board with Burnt Fry. He's normally there or thereabouts in qualifying. He's had quite a lot of pole positions throughout the championship in qualifying, so let's see how he does on this first lap. See if he keeps it nice and steady and just gets a banker lap in, or if he pushes. Got a bit of a back marker, although we're not in a race, but Tiny Tortoise, I think he'll still be on his out lap, so he needs to get out of the way really. I'm not sure he's aware that Burnt Fry's on his fast lap. Maybe thinks that he's just driving around behind him. Anyway, Burnt Fry losing out a little bit of time there because of Tiny Tortoise, not quite getting out of the way as quickly as he maybe could have done. Good exit, crucial to get a good exit out of there. You've got to get the power down nice and early because you've got a big hill to climb up through the fast kinked left-hander. What's it going to be? It's going to be towards a 130. It's a 130.634 in the end. So that's a good time for a first lap from Burnt Fry. In comparison, excuse me, Phil G, the second one to come over the line, we're 132.1. Mrs. Miggins now puts in second. The third one to come over the line with a 132.0. Steer Wheel Racing put it in second now. Can't jump to him for some reason. We're a 131.0. So Burnt Fry and Steer Wheel Racing, the guys that are battling for the championship towards the top, well at the top, are 4/10ths of each other in qualifying at the moment. Plenty of time left obviously, but it's interesting to see on the first lap. Let's skip through the field, see what else is going on. Lucky Bucky in 5th, Phil G in 4th, if I haven't mentioned that already, I think I did. Cutler in 6th after his first flying lap, 133.1. Bonzi Bob, so he's in 7th, 147 though, it's not a great lap. So definitely improvement there for Bonzi. No, I haven't, believe it or not. Well, I did. I had a cider earlier, but about 3 hours ago, and I only had one. So no, I don't know what's wrong with me. Just can't speak. Less words and more, in my case, when I'm like this. The Boonsy Bob seems to be doing quite well, going well to start off with. Not got a proper timing yet, but looking to settle into qualifying and get that up on the board eventually. Tiny Tortoise in 7th now. It's a good time. Well, it's a 1:36.0, so it's not the fastest time, but to put himself in 7th temporarily, I can never say that word, was good. He's now been kicked out by Neutron Storm, which has taken 7th with 1:32.49. Damien is now in 8th with 1:32.7, one of the CRT boys. Armin in 9th, 1:33.590. Tiny Tortoise in 10th now. And Boonsy Bob finds himself in 10th actually. It's just jumped above Tiny Tortoise. And Cutler is now in the pits, just coming out with some fresh tyres. So back to Burnt Fry. He's managed a 1:30.364 now. He's improved on his second lap, on his third lap. It's quite a considerable improvement as well, roughly 0.3 of a second. Jumps in the pits for fresh tyres. See if Steer Wheel Racing goes for another lap or he does the same. Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. Always appreciated. Off to a bad start, but I feel like I'm settling into it eventually. I only do like one commentary a week these days, so I don't do it as often as I used to do. The steer wheel diving in the pits as well seems to be the thing to be done at this point. Get some fresh tyres on, don't really waste your time. You've got a chance of improving, you've already lost quite a lot of fuel. Quarter of a tank in Neutron Storm's case. So Gums are going well in 4th. Steer wheel just getting out of the way, making sure there's no impeding him on his fast lap. Mrs. Miggins in 5th. Phil G in 6th. So Phil G's dropped down a little bit, a couple of positions from where he first started after his first flying lap. And if you look at the times, he's yet to improve on that second lap that he did, his first flying lap. Damien in 7th. Going well with 1:32.203. Lucky Bucky not far off him at all, so it's very close between these guys, in between 7th and 8th. Not a lot in it. Those positions can change quite easily. Phil G's very close as well. Mrs. Miggins. So the midfield in qualifying so far is anyone's. The positions can quite easily change there. A couple of the guys jumping in the pits now this lap round, getting some fresh rubber on again. Oh, Armin going wide, caught him cutting the grass. It's not going to gain him any time. That's not a cut that you want to be doing. Will he go again? Oh, he's on fresh rubber. He's on his outlap actually, so it's no harm done at the end of the day. So long as he gets... oh, he has come in the pits there. Not quite sure why. Tiny Tortoise in 11th. Boonsy Bob in 12th now. So these guys having a good battle at the back. Although they're a little bit off the pace of the guys at the top. Still, they have a little battle between them to concentrate on. Lucky Bucky in 9th. Slipstreaming Damien in 8th. So... we could be using the guy in front to improve on his time and actually take the position of the guy in front as well. Claim 8th position or higher. So it's a good little tactic, and it certainly niggles on the driver in front if he realises that he's just towed you to a faster lap. They're both CRT drivers though, so to be fair, they could be working together. Obviously, I'm not involved in the chat. They might be chatting away and helping each other out. But yeah, quite interesting being that close in qualifying. It's worked out from there. They haven't had any issues. Let's see what the times are as they cross the line. Everyone looks pretty comfortable on this track so far. There's been a little incident that we've spotted from Armin, but gathered it up easily enough and got going again. But yeah, everyone looks pretty comfortable, so the practice earlier on, if not earlier in the week, has paid off for people. So in the end, Lucky Bucky is in 8th and Damien's still in 7th, so it didn't end up changing. It looked like Lucky Bucky closed in through the middle part of the lap and then dropped off towards the end a little bit, and that's probably where the time was lost, I would guess. Mrs. Miggins pulling to one side. Let's see what the guys towards the top are doing. Gumsy in 4th, still yet to improve on his first flying lap, so he'll be looking to do that this time round. Oh no, he's on his out lap, sorry. So he'll be on to his fast lap. Let's actually go on board. Want to mix it up a little bit rather than just flicking through all the time. Go on board with Gumsy. He's just on his first fast lap with this fuel load and brand new fresh tyres. See how he can do. He was in 4th, but Neutron Storm's just pushed him out. In fact, that might have been Cutler. I missed the positions there, but Cutler doing a great job. He was quite low down earlier on in qualifying, but he's now pulled it out of the bag and got himself up into 3rd. Still just under 4 minutes to go though, so still a few minutes remaining to get another lap in or two, depending on where you are on the track. But Gumsy looks like he's doing a good job, keeping it nice and steady, hooking up the apexes, nice and calm on the brakes into there. You don't want to go deep into there because it makes this corner so difficult to get the line through. A little bit slow on the exit by the look of it, but nothing too dramatic. At least he's not getting loads of oversteer. Little lift through that corner, it's always a bit of a bugger trying to turn it into there. Not a bad lap from Gumsy all in all though. Let's see if he improves. Looking good time wise, he's on a 1:25 at the moment. Not going to be right up there, but let's see what it is. So no improvement actually. To 1:32.455, so he did look like he was taking it quite conservatively, but I thought he might improve just because of the fuel load, but turns out it was a little bit slower than previously. Well, I've no idea if his evening pole I've no idea if he's on his wheel, to be honest. Interesting thought actually. Oh my god, it's warm, and I'm only sat here commentating. So this is more or less going to be the last lap for the guys crossing over the line as we speak. Steer Wheel Racing and the two CRT boys in front, Lucky Bucky and Gumsy, I think it is. Is it? Let's have a look. It's Lucky Bucky and Damien, I think. Yeah. Damien in 9th now. Let's quickly go through the order before the final laps come in. So Burnt Fry is in provisional pole at the moment. Steer Wheel Racing in 2nd on the purple sector. Cutler in 3rd. Ooh, Cutler's had a bit of an incident though, sat at the side of the track, so he's messed up his last flying lap really. Neutron Storm in 4th, Gumsy in 5th, Lucky Bucky in 6th. Looks like Gumsy's just got over the line to start another one. Lucky Bucky in 6th, Mrs. Miggins in 7th, Phil in 8th, Damien in 9th, we've got Armin in 10th, Boonsy Bob in 11th and Tiny Tortoise in 12th. So will anything change? I'm not quite sure. The fastest lap at the moment is Burnt Fry. Like I've said, provisional pole at the moment. Unless he gets beaten, I'm pretty sure he's secure with a 1:30.055 that he's managed. Really quick round here. Stir Wheel Racing getting the slipstream off Lucky Bucket. Will it work out for him though? Coming towards the line. There's only going to be 30 seconds left once they cross the line. So that's pretty much qualifying over for these guys. Lucky Bucky in 8th and Stir Wheel Racing in 2nd in the end. Cutler in 3rd. Can he improve? Still got a way to go on this lap. Neutron Storm. That's a good time for Neutron Storm. Good qualifying in 4th. So it'd be good if he can improve. But if not, it's not a bad place for him to be. Mrs. Miggins going for the overtake. Stir Wheel Racing complying completely, getting out of the way. So will Mrs. Miggins get this lap in? I'm not sure he will. Depends how harsh the host is, quite frankly. Comes in 6th, just sat there waiting. Phil can have a quick flick through. Not a lot going on. Let's see what happens towards the top. Is Stir Wheel Racing on a reasonable lap or not? I'm not sure. So he's recently swapped. Pretty tricky transition when you do first go from the pad, if you've been using the pad for a long time, especially for racing, and then jump on a new wheel that you might have bought or been given. Then yeah, it's quite a transition. It takes a bit of time. Anyone that thinks they can just get to grips with it in 10 minutes is probably sadly mistaken, unless they're really quite talented. Anyway, that's the end of qualifying in the end. So I think the positions more or less stayed the same. I don't think anyone really got that last chance in to get that extra lap in, really. So let's get underway. 15 lap race around Interlagos. I'll have a quick little sip of juice before we get going. Here we go. Guys need to be careful into the first chicane, first corner, which is the chicane. Need to be extra careful and vigilant into there. Oh, Burnfry not getting the best start. Stir Wheel Racing jumping straight up into first. Good start from him. Burnfry getting a really bad start, so he's side by side, nearly 3 wide with Gumsy and Mrs. Miggins as they go through the first chicane. Oh, Tiny Tortoise losing it further back. Look at this from Neutron Storm. He's had a bad start, dropped down a little bit, but managed to get through nicely and follow the guys in front. Cutler in 6th, so bad start from Cutler there as well, unfortunately for those guys. Lucky Bucky in the same position more or less. Let's see what's going on at the front here. Cutler following Neutron Storm. Mrs. Miggins looking pretty feisty to get past Burnfry. And quickly exit just so I can skip up the camera angles. Got all the info. So Burnfry managing just about to pull a car length or 2 away from Neutron Storm. Neutron Storm having to deal with Mrs. Miggins from behind in 5th as they went through that lower sector. Mrs. Miggins getting away with going side by side, not having much of a challenge on him from Cutler. Now let's check out Stir Wheel Racing. He's got a really good start on this first lap. Look at this, he's already pulled a 1.3 second lead over Gumsy in 2nd place, which is really handy on the first lap round here. If you can prevent giving the slipstream down this long straight to the guys behind on the first lap, then you've got a really good chance of getting away. Comes in Burnfry battling away. Burnfry into 2nd now. So he's managed to make up for that bad start. Dropped back a little bit, managed to get away with going 3 wide into the first chicane somehow. And it's all worked out for him, got back up into 2nd in the end. Neutron Storm back into 4th as well, he's jumped past Mrs. Miggins. Cutler in 6th, let's go a little bit further down, see what's going on. Lucky Bucky and Cutler side by side. Look at this as they go into the heavy braking zone before the tight left-hander. Quite a tight corner, the exit tightens up a little bit, got to be careful. But like Cutler went defensive enough to deter Lucky Bucky from having a go. That was close between the guys there, so Lucky Bucky gets through. Oh, Mrs. Miggins gets caught up in that. Who was actually the main culprit there? That was Neutron Storm. Neutron Storm with a big incident that kicked off all that, I think. Or did he? No, I'm not sure he kicked it all off, but sorry, I might have that wrong. It happened so quickly. Let's have a replay if we can. Always goes back to the, nah, why does it never work? Let's forget about that. I've deleted my replays, by the way, it still doesn't work. Anyway, enough about that. So, big incident there for a couple of the guys in the midfield that's dropped them back and given the opportunity to guys who've started a little bit further back. They've now found themselves higher up the field. Lucky Bucky being one of them, going from 7th to 5th now. Boonsy Bob, which started quite low down and now in 6th. Armin in 7th. Let's go through the field now. It's mixed up a bit. Mrs. Miggins in 8th. Damien in 9th. Neutron Storm right down in 10th now. He's got damage as well, so he needs to pick this lap. He's got engine damage, got all sorts of damage going on there. Tiny Tortoise in 11th. We saw him go off quite early on. He lost the rear end of the Mercedes. Phil in 12th, and that's the field at the moment. So there's a couple of pit stops going on, mainly for getting rid of the damage. Meanwhile, at the front, we've got Stir Wheel Racing getting challenged from Burnfry. Now the pressure's on. Can he hold on to first place, or more importantly, how long can he hold on for it? To it. Terrible English there. Oh, I'm sweating just sat here. Whew. Don't know how these guys are coping. I bet they'll be looking forward to that longer second race. The Burnfry looks like he's just eased off that a little bit, looking for the opportunity. Not every corner on this track is, and in the case of most tracks actually, it's not really the perfect overtaking opportunity. So yeah, you've got to pick your corners to do it on. The first corner on the overhand, which they're about to come up to, is definitely an overtaking opportunity. So long as, yep, Burnfry's got the inside. He's going to say Stir Wheel Racing needed to go over to the left and defend that early, really. Just giving that away to Burnfry. Let's see what they can do nicely through the chicane. Burnfry through, back up into first, where he qualified. So it's taken a few laps, 4 laps to get there, but he's done it in the end. Got back to where he actually started the race. Terrible start, dropped him back, and he's done well to regain it. Credit where credit's due. Gumsy in 3rd, going well. He's got a nice gap behind him as well. He's pretty comfortable in 3rd. Cutler in 4th. Oh, big drift from Cutler. Keeps going wide through there. And that's a big mistake from Cutler. Too wide this time round. Gets it on the AstroTurf. Too much load on the tyres with too much steering lock on, and that's it. As a result, you go around spinning. He's picked up all sorts of damage at the front end. So that's not a good moment for Cutler, unfortunately. But Boonsy Bob profiteers from that one, up into 5th. Cutler in 6th. After that, he'll have to come into the pits. That'll lose him a lot of time with all that damage at the front end. Damien in 7th. 30 seconds off the leader, so a bit of work to do, these guys. There's a big gap now between these guys and the leaders after 4 laps. Look at this, further back, Phil G, being chased by Tiny Tortoise and Armin, so you don't have to be at the front to have a good race. Look at this. 3-car train, Armin trying to go around the outside of Tiny Tortoise in 10th. Good effort, but it just went a little bit too deep into there. Didn't go too deep there and ruin it all. He's still on the back of Tiny Tortoise. Oh, commentator's curse. There we go, just touches the grass on the brakes there. Lost the rear end. Touch the grass as you're on the brakes, turning in that little bit, just trying to load up the tyres, getting ready for the corner. And again, it's rear end, spinning round time. Neutron Storm in 12th now, so really suffering in this one so far. Picked up the damage early on though, so he's had a long old lap to limp round into the pits on lap 2 and fix that damage, and that's really put him back in this race. But he's a fast guy, so if he keeps going, you never know what might happen. He's a minute down on the leaders, so I doubt he'll be winning the race, but he might make up a few positions if he keeps his head down. Let's quickly skip through again, see what else is going on. Tiny Tortoise having a good race, yeah, Mark. Still keeping Armin behind. He's dropped off Phil now. Not quite having the battle that he was with Phil as we join them. The Boonsy Bob's not having a bad first race with this group. It is round 8, so he's not going to be able to make any mark on the championship, obviously. He's too late for that, but he can certainly have a good race and get a good couple of results. And I'm sure he'll be pretty chuffed with 5th at the moment, especially after not having the best of qualifying. I think he was down in 9th, if I remember rightly. For a little drink. Oh, Gumsy going a little bit. No, he didn't get it that wide, I suppose, but just ran the curve a little bit and certainly had the power down. Kick the rear end out a little bit. Looks like Gumsy's on the limit, really. He's pushing. He's not that far off steer wheel racing. He's certainly still in contention for second place. The race isn't over yet, so there's still pit stops to happen. So who knows? It could be there in the end, Gumsy, depending on how he drives. So a good battle going on between the leaders, Burnt Fry and Steer Wheel Racing. Not a massive gap developed now Burnt Fry's got past, so Steer Wheel doing a great job to stick with him. Obviously using the slipstream to his advantage. Lucky Bucky now in 4th. I think that's our top CRT driver, so that's good at the moment from him. He's got a nice healthy gap in between, well, him and Boonsy Bob. Unfortunately, he's got a massive gap to Gumsy in front for 3rd position, but at the moment, doing a good job in 4th, just holding it nicely. We'll jump back up to the leaders in a minute if there's not a lot going on, but I just want to skip through and see what everyone's up to. Phil definitely pulled away now from Tiny Tortoise. Tiny Tortoise still holding his own against Armin though. Having a good battle between the two. One in the Mercedes being Tiny Tortoise and Armin in the Aston Martin. Neutron Storm still looking to get back into this one. Still a bit of work to do to catch his dad in front. So let's go back up to the front again. Oh, the gap's grown slightly, 3/10 since we last checked in about a minute ago. But it's pretty close between the leaders, so we'll stick with this for a lap. See how they go, see if the gap grows or shrinks. It looks like it's growing at the moment a little bit. So Steer Wheel Racing might be considering a pit stop. Let's see what happens. Will they pit this lap round? Don't think so. I think Steer Wheel will be led by Burnt Fry really. Burnt Fry goes for another lap, Steer Wheel will. Unless they try the undercut. Or the overcut in some cases. A lot harder to do the overcut than the undercut there. Hopefully you know what I'm on about. So again, Steer Wheel Racing holding his own, keeping that gap nice and close. It's built up to a second, but he's not letting Burnt Fry relax whatsoever. Comes on his outlap, so he's just gone for the medium tyre now. Got enough fuel probably till the end. Yep, he's got more than half a tank. So it should be absolutely fine. Lucky Bucky is driving around on incredibly worn tyres. His lap times aren't suffering too badly. They're obviously getting slower and slower, but they've not dropped off the cliff yet. This might be the lap though, unless he comes in the pits. So we're going to see a pit stop here from Lucky Bucky. Rear end kicking a little bit through there as well. It's the front tyres that have got most wear though. Nope, staying out. And that's why I don't play the lottery. It's really hard to predict certain things. Cutler giving us a little bit of a tail wag, bit of action. Coming over the start finish line now to start lap 9. Mrs. Miggins not far behind in 7th. So he had a really good start, did Mrs. Miggins. Got right up there, but slowly dropped down a little bit, but still in a very respectable 7th. Phil G in 8th, quite a way off in behind. Damien in 9th. Tiny Tortoise now right at the back. He's just pitted though, he's on his outlap, so it might work out for him because Neutron Storm might have to pit in front. He's on the medium tyre though, so he might be able to go to the end. Armin in the pits now, Damien in the pits from 9th and 10th. Neutron Storm getting up into 9th now. So the medium tyre might work out perfectly for him here. He's got back into this race. He was driving around in 12th after a big mistake in the opening laps. The pit stop at this track as well is quite a long one, so you don't really want to be pitting as often as you may get away with on other tracks. Some tracks lend themselves to a fast pit stop because of the pit entry and pit exit, but this isn't one of them. Don't find the pits. So Steer Wheel Racing inherits first place, but he has quite major front wear on his tyres. His rears aren't too bad, but can he go for another 5 laps? I don't think he can. So he'll be looking to pit as well. So this is an all-important lap here for Steer Wheel Racing and Burnt Fry as well. If Steer Wheel Racing can have a good lap here, he'll gain on Burnt Fry, possibly. When he comes out of the pits, they'll be a little bit closer than they were previously, so that'll be interesting. Keep an eye on Steer Wheel, see if he does pit this lap round. Gaps are pretty big between a lot of the guys now. We've got a small gap between Cutler and Mrs. Miggins though, so look at this. Pretty close for 6th position. Cutler defending it and Mrs. Miggins trying to gain it. Not too far off. Boonsy Bob in front as well, you can definitely see him. Hooking up the apex nicely there, and right over the curb, going a little bit wide through there. So Steer Wheel Racing has pitted. Here he comes out. Where's Burnt Fry? Burnt Fry's coming through the first corner as well. This is going to be close. He's on the left hand side there, Gumsy. Not Gumsy, Steer Wheel Racing, sorry. Oh, completely got that wrong. He's still coming out of the pits. So it was Gumsy. No, I've got that completely wrong. Hey? Oh no, they are quite close. That completely confused me. I'm not sure what and how, but yeah, do bear with me. I'm not the brightest sometimes. Whatever. So, our order after quite late pit stops is Burnt Fry in 1st, Steer Wheel Racing in 2nd, Gumsy in 3rd, Lucky Bucky in 4th, Cutler in 5th. So Cutler's made up a position now, in Prince of 5th. Mrs. Miggins in 6th, also made up a position, was in 7th a minute ago. Phil G in the pits at the moment, in 7th. Boonsy Bob just coming out of the pits as well. The Boonsy Bob's actually in 7th, Phil G is in 8th, I think it's going to be. Yep, Armin's coming through the first corner, so Phil G is in 8th. Armin's going to be in 9th, and Neutron Storm is back in 10th. Gone for the soft tyre now, so he has decided to pit again, not try and run the medium all the way to the end. Damien in 11th. But Damien's had a bit of a mixed one in this race as well. Had quite a good qualifying and seemed to be quite high up the order with a few fortunate position changes, a few incidents happening around him, but dropped back a little bit now. Anyway, let's see what our leaders are up to. Oh, the gap's grown now, so now there was a 2-second gap between Burnt Fry and Steer Wheel Racing as Steer Wheel came out of the pits eventually after my stupid confusion, but that was enough to break the slipstream. So crucially, Steer Wheel is not sat there with the slipstream from Burnt Fry now, and is able to pull a bit more of a gap than he was before. on the fresh soft tyre as well, that obviously helps. He's got the gap up to nearly 3 seconds now, so doing a grand old job in first place, holding the lead. Gums has had a really good race in third, had a bit of a lonely one, but a good race all the same. Not seeing any mistakes from him. Lucky Bucky the same as well. Going a little bit wide there, but nothing to worry about. Okay, this between Mrs. Miggins, now in 5th, got past Cutler. I've missed the overtake, but he's done a good job there. No damage between them, so it was clean, I'm guessing. A little bit of a scuff on the front right of Mrs. Miggins' car. I'm sure that was there earlier. Oh, good stuff. I wish I knew what had happened. I'm sure it would have been interesting. My prediction would be that Cutler outbroke himself somewhere, because that R8 is so unstable. You have to get it. So look at that, for example. Look at that, perfect example. Just to say it, he goes round. So Cutler spinning on the grass, just losing the rear end. And if you look at that bottom, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, the tyres. Who's this coming up behind? Boonsy Bob, can he get through? If you look at Cutler, oh, Cutler's gone again. Oh, he's gone on the straight. Oh my god, so massive moment there again from Cutler. He's picked up all sorts of damage there, and he's claimed Boonsy Bob as well as a victim. Boonsy Bob just about being able to jump straight in the pits by the look of it, and not having to go around for another lap with damage. So that's lucky in a way, but Cutler looked like it lost it coming through the kink on the straight, more or less. So that's an odd one from Cutler there. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I'm not sure how he managed that, but I know he had dirty tyres. But yeah, big moments all of a sudden from Cutler, dropping back, which allows Mrs. Miggins a bit of freedom and a bit of breathing room to drive around in the turn now without much pressure behind. In 5th, coming towards the end now on lap 13 as well, so the guys that have maybe, I don't want to say it, but maybe got a few positions higher than they normally would be. We just need to keep their heads down now, concentrate, focus for those last couple of laps and get those positions. There's some good results going on for here for a couple of these lads. Boonsy Bob making the most of Cutler's mistake. In a way, he managed to get past, even though he got claimed by the contact and had to come in the pits. He's still in 7th because of that, and he didn't actually. He did still gain a position, believe it or not. Comes in the pits late on. Looks like he's just gone on the hard tyre by the look of it. I don't think there's any. I didn't realise there was any stipulation to use all 3 tyre compounds in this first race. I know there is in the second one, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times before. Gumsy might just like the hard tyre, but I doubt it. Yeah, he's doing good. He's Mrs. Miggins. He's had a good old battle to get himself into 5th as well. It's not like he's just gained it and he's been given it. So yeah, a little comment in the chat there from someone doing a good job. From someone, from Paul, sorry. Let's have a look. Boonsy Bob, if he can keep it going, pace is going at the moment. He's probably doing enough. Oh, in the background, Cutler spinning it again. Oh, just about being missed by the cars coming through. Neutron, Storm and Armin. Father and son now up into 8th and 9th. Armin going wide. Is he letting his son through? I think he possibly might have done with that kind of move. That was either really outbreaking himself or letting him through. So Neutron Storm up into 8th, and Armin dropping into 9th after just gaining a position. Cutler coming through now, getting overtaken, by the first place Burnfry. Burnfry's actually on the final lap, so jump up to Burnfry. Someone in the pit is right at the end. 1 lap to go. Mrs. Miggins has decided he wants to pit. I might have that wrong. Maybe you do have to use a hard tyre, and that's why everyone's jumping in. Anyway, coming through the last corner is Burnfry. in the BMW M6, and he claims the bragging rights of 5 victories through the championship to Steering Wheel Racing's 4 with this win. A really good race in the BMW. He's been consistent all season, and there we go, brings it over the line with a brilliant race in the end. Steering Wheel Racing in second, not quite being able to keep with him in the end in that second stint after the pits. Gumsy in third, with quite the battle behind him though from Lucky Bucky, both in the AMG. So this has closed up a lot in the end. I think Gumsy's going to have done enough unless Lucky Bucky gets some ultimate slipstream from somewhere. Yeah, so Gumsy gets it in the end third, rounds out our podium. Lucky Bucky with a really good finish in fourth. Mrs. Miggins is going to finish in the Jaguar. I think it's the only one in the field. I'm that observant, I should know really, it's round 8, but I'm pretty sure it's the only one in the field. In the Jaguar, good result in 5th, flashing his lights to celebrate, coming over the line. He can be happy with that one, and it's actually finishing his outlap as well because he pitted so late in this race, so quite funny in the end. Come on, Lucky, good result there from Lucky. Phil G bringing it home in 6th. Crosses the line, Boonsy Bob not far behind. Well, say that, nearly 9 seconds. Finishes in 7th in the end. Good finish for him as the first race in this championship. Neutron Storm's going to finish in 8th, Armin in 9th. Driving over the line side by side, Father and Son, quite a nice little touch that actually. Good to see. Cutler's already finished in 10th, Damien in 11th, and Tiny Tortoise has already finished in 12th. So let's just finish out with Armin and Neutron Storm. Neutron pulling the handbrake. Beautiful. That was good. Hopefully you guys that are watching enjoyed that as well. Feel free to hit that like button if you have enjoyed it. Not that I'm doing any of the racing, but yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was good. What the hell was that? That looked like 2 cars going around in reverse then for a second. So we'll now wait a few minutes before our second race starts. 24 laps, so considerably longer, 9 laps longer, and it'll certainly bring even more strategy into it. So there was quite a few pit stops that we saw in that one. People weren't getting away with just 1 or 2 stops. It looked like quite a few people that actually ended up doing 3 in the end. So quite interesting how it'll work out in this longer race. Yeah, good stuff though there from the guys. Give them a little congratulations, well done. Oh, 22 laps, I got it wrong again, I said 24. 22 it is. See, that's what I was thinking. Gumsy's asked the question, not all 3 tyres as well. And I know for sure that you've got to do it in the second race, but I can't remember. It's a while since I've read the rules, believe it or not. I don't read them every week. Kind of forgotten. Don't think you do have to use all 3 in the first race. That's what I'd say, off the top of my head. So Cutler I'd want to forget. I know we like to keep it positive, but I don't know what happened there to Cutler, because it looked like he had 90% of a good race and then ended up just spinning it a few times when it wasn't really expected either, if I do say so. So yeah, it's going to be eating at Cutler a little bit. Hopefully he gets it together for race 2, keeps it a bit more consistent and gets a better result, or gets a chance to have a better result. Yep, well done, Bert Fry. Well done, mate. That's another good win. And I don't know if you heard whilst I was commentating, but you've made it 5 wins to 4 against Wheel now as well. So it'll be interesting if he gets this one and makes it a draw again. Obviously, you'll be looking to make that a different story. Make it 6. So yeah, it should be an interesting one. Everyone just having a little bit of a rest in between races, which is good. Let's have a little bit of spectating. So a nice little touch, like I mentioned, father and son arming in Neutron Storm, and Neutron Storm's actually only 13 as well. So nice little touch to actually bring it over the line together and drive side by side. Arming earlier on, a lap or 2 before the end, I forget exactly when it was. Let Neutron Storm through, either that or he had a complete lapse of concentration in the braking zone. But it certainly looked like he let him through to me. So, like I said, nice way to actually finish it in the end. I love stuff like that, it's good. I didn't see that, so Tiny Tortoise is apologising for a little bit of contact on Phil by the look of it at the beginning. Said they got a really good start. Tiny Tortoise, I'm going to get his name out. He is really good off the start. He's a really fast starter, so yeah, he got caught out by the sound of it. So I've lost my speech again. But he's on a good start. And possibly Phil's slightly delayed one. It's quite a good start that, made it interesting, but Fry not getting the best one and going backwards straight away from first position. Neutron Storm got the jump into first straight away and managed to gain a nice little lead on lap 1 in that race, and it all looked quite rosy to start off with, but eventually Burnt Fry were just consistent enough and fast enough to catch him up and get the position back in the end. So yeah, some kind of conclusion to that race. Summary. I enjoyed it, it's good. Some good results, like I say, from some of the guys that have maybe struggled weeks gone by. That's the line, using all of the track. I do apologise if I've gone all quiet and just taking a moment to have a breather and just relax before this pretty epic second race. It's going to be a long one. So I don't think we could be too far off start of race 2 now. God, it's so hot. Yeah, it looked like a good race, Phil. Sorry, I just noticed your comment. Yeah, well, you had a good one there. Had quite the battle going on for a while. Not the best of starts, like you say, and Tiny Tortoise apologising as something happened. I missed it, to be honest, because there was quite a bit going on at the front as well. Can't catch everything whilst trying to do a commentary. But yeah, so I didn't quite catch whatever happened towards the back at the start. It sounds like there was a little bit of an incident, but you got to wait. Evening, Billy. Right, so we are about to get away for a 22 lap race, not 24, which I kept saying earlier. 22 lap race around Interlagos for race 2 of the NxtGen Racing Championship Team versus Team, sponsored by Team Oliver Racing. And that's the first time I've done anything sounding slightly official tonight. So we're away. Where's my bloody pad? I put it down. Tiny Tortoise with the lead with the reverse grid. Damien in second. Cutler looking to make up a position or two. Not quite getting the sniff. Tiny Tortoise holding his own. Damien side by side on the exit though, coming through the chicane. Cutler in third still, Armin in fourth. So obviously the reverse grid. Some of the guys that are slower in race 1 are towards the front in race 2. That's the way it works. If you're not familiar with the reverse grid, obviously most will be. Neutron Storm, storming through. Getting straight up side by side with Tiny Tortoise, so Tiny Tortoise dropping back a few positions already, and a massive pile of chaos going on behind with Gumsy, Burnt Fry, Mrs. Miggins down the inside on Gumsy and Burnt Fry. Nice move there. Finds himself on the outside though. Where's he gone? Oh, stuck on the outside, so it's not worked out for him in the end. Where's he gone? It wasn't even Gumsy, it was Mrs. Miggins. Completely lost him, so that all went wrong. He went down into 12th in the end. Didn't quite catch exactly why. Anyway, a bit further back we've got Phil making a move on Lucky Bucky. Straight down the inside through the last corner as well. Tight corner to do it on. Brave move, up into 8th. Didn't see any contact though, so it looked good. Cutler now in second, Damien in first. Got a bit of a lead as Damien, doing a good job so far. Armin in third, Neutron Storm in fourth. Again, father-son, so hopefully they don't have any contact between each other. That'll be awkward at the dinner table tomorrow. Fifth is Burnt Fry. Burnt Fry already storming through, obviously started in last place with the reverse grid. So now up into 5th, it's a great job on lap 2. I was about to say purple sector, but everyone will be going purple because it's the first fast lap. So Gumsy into 6th now, dropped down a little bit. Still Wheel Racing in 7th, Lucky Bucky in 8th, Phil G in 9th, Boonsy Bob in 10th, Tiny Tortoise that started in 1st in this one, unfortunately down in 11th now, Mrs. Miggins in 12th, already coming out of the pits on the hard tyre, so all went wrong for him on that opening lap or 2, and away he goes with some fresh hard tyres on for a long old stint now, looking to get back into this race with a bit of a different strategy. Lucky Bucky's sat at the side of the track with a bit of a mistake, dropping down now, can't get away. What's happened there? I think he's driven into the barrier as well, so makes a double mistake in a way, drops even more time, now into 10th, and he's looking at a 6-second gap to make up to Boonsy Bob in front, which managed to get through in 9th. But really unfortunate there for Lucky Bucky. I didn't see exactly what happened to put him in that position, but not good to see. Phil G in 8th, Let's just flick through, see where the action's at. Pretty close still between these guys. Gumsy, Armin and Burnt Fry by the look of it. So Burnt Fry getting through, just about through the first chicane. It's a tight little chicane to do it through. It is a good overtaking opportunity. I like overtaking into there if we can, but it is one where it can all go wrong as well. Needs a bit of awareness from the other driver that you're trying to overtake. So Burnt Fry doing a grand old job there. Manages to hold them off as well down the long straight into the next corner. So Armin in 5th and Gums in 6th. Stowwheel Racing looking to come through the field as well, but not quite getting through as quickly as Burnt Fry's managed it. Gumsy going a little bit wide, he's pushing his Gumsy, certainly wants to get past, and he wants to get past quickly, putting the pressure on the back of Armin. Let's go on board with him actually. He's got the inside, Armin's going to have to back out of this really, otherwise there's going to be contact. He's got the racing line, so there, Gumsy's just through. Looks like Armin's got a good exit there, he's coming back in. So look to the left hand side, oh, wrong button, where is it? He's there, he's through. Stowwheel Racing's watching all this go on behind in 7th position as well. He's not far behind at all. Side by side now into T1. Gumsy's gone for the inside. Armin on the outside. Gumsy getting it stopped nicely actually. Looked like he was going to go a little bit deep or he risked it. Where's Armin gone? Armin's got that all wrong, so he's dropped right back now. I didn't look over to see what was going on. I thought it was alright there, Armin, but he's made a mistake into T1. And Stowwheel Racing's got through up into 6th. Looked like there was a bit of a battle going on between Cutler and Burnt Fry ahead as well for 3rd position. Damien's still in 1st. Neutron Storm in 2nd, even though we haven't checked in on them recently. We will do in a minute. Just keep an eye on this little battle between Cutler. Oh, Cutler with a little bit of a correction mid-corner there, lost a lot of time from that. Did I see that right? I'm slightly distracted here, I'll be honest. I'm rolling the sig. He came, he didn't have the best race to be honest, Billy. He were in 12th at one point, but he ended up finishing in 8th, I think. I think him and his dad came over the line in 7th and 8th, I think it was, or 8th and 9th. So yeah, he had an incident early on, and it all went a little bit wrong from there. But he managed to get back into the race, that was the important thing, kept going, and yeah, certainly got promises of that lad. Talking about Neutron Storm, the young lad, Billy's been watching him for a few weeks now. He's really good, and he's a good racer as well. He's not just quick, he's perfectly capable of getting some good overtakes done. Jump on board with him as we talk about him, in 2nd position at the moment. Keeping a nice, steady, consistent pace, 131s or high 131s at the moment. Damien with 32s, so he's actually a bit faster as Neutron Storm, and overall he's catching him. Yeah, he is good, isn't he? He is good, Billy. I've really enjoyed watching him actually. He's really good. It's been interesting to know that someone's actually that young as well, because in my experience, the majority of the people I've spoken to through sim racing and racing on these games they're quite not old, like they're not in the 70s or 80s or anything, but generally they tend to be like late 20s, early 30s, early 40s sometimes, and a bit later again. So yeah, it's always good to know like if there's some little whippersnapper kicking our asses basically. So I always assume these days that everyone's a bit older. It's mainly because the guys who take it a bit more seriously, normally, not everyone, but normally on the wheel, and this is what I've always put it down to, this is my little theory, the young'uns, unless they've got some rich parents, can't necessarily afford a fair few £100 for a rig and a wheel and pedals and everything else. So that's what I always think. They're not always, they're kind of priced out of the market sometimes, these kits. And I think that's why the older ends generally have the wheels and all the gear, just because they've got the jobs that can afford it. Let me know about my interesting theory there, am I right? Or am I completely deluded and there is loads of teenagers playing on this? But like I say, from my experience in league racing anyway, in the groups I've joined and stuff, generally people seem to be a little bit older. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on about that. Let's get back to the racing. Damien in first, Neutron in second. Let's go through the order all the way to the end. Cutler in third, Burntfry in fourth. Burntfry not quite having the pace that he had in race one, otherwise I would have expected to see him in first by now, the way he was going. We're not all as old as Stuart. I'm 35, I don't mind telling you how old I am. Yeah, consistency is the main thing, especially when you start getting really quick. There's no point in being quick over one lap. You need to be able to do it for however long the race is. If it's 2 hours long, you need to be consistent over 2 hours. And that's where you actually start getting really quite good. Well, that's how I see it anyway. Stair wheel racing's making his way up slowly. Sorry, I didn't go all the way through, did I? Did I go all the way through? I got distracted. Kind of being a bit forgetful here. Not concentrating much. Stair wheel racing in sixth. Battling hard with Gumsy there. Not much in it at all. Let's keep an eye on this actually. It's good little bit of entertainment for the time being. Look at the minimap at the top though, the first 4 cars still pretty close together, and there's a little bit of a gap to 5th, and then these two battling away. Oh sorry, this is 5th, sorry, there must be a bit of a gap to 4th, so it's the first 3 cars that are pretty close together. So Gumsy slowly getting closed down by Stair wheel racing behind. Will he make an attempt through the first sector? Not through here, he's too far behind. Let's check in on Damien and Neutron Storm and not Burntfry, Cutler. He's closing up between these, so the threat of losing the lead hangs heavy over Damien's head at the moment. As Neutron Storm is definitely closing that gap in. When we checked in on them earlier, the gap was around 2.5 seconds or thereabouts, so Neutron Storm's done a good job of clawing that gap and that time back to Damien. And look at this now, he's got, in a moment, he's going to be challenging for it. Here we go. Gets a good line on the exit. Finds himself on the outside, not able to do anything. Damien with a good line into the last corner there, defending it nicely, but not going too defensive to ruin his line altogether. Still able to carry some kind of speed out of the corner. Neutron Storm does have a good run out of there though, has a slipstream as well. Oh, Damien backing out a little bit of the battle and diving in the pits. Neutron Storm inheriting first place. Cutler jumping in the pits as well. Burntfry in second now. Gets promoted by the pit stops. Stair wheel racing in third. So we've got Gumsy in the pits as well. This lap. On to lap 9 now. This one's flown by so far. We're checking on the guys a little bit further back. I feel like I've neglected them a little bit because the action's been pretty good further up. Armin's in 8th, just come in the pits. Was in 8th. Phil G in 10th. Mrs. Miggins, bit of a gap between Armin and Tiny Tortoise behind him. So in a race of his own at the moment. The Tiny Tortoise unfortunately finds himself right at the back, but once again, credit to Tiny Tortoise, he's not once quit a race, even if he does find himself at the back. So he's a trooper, got to give it to him. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bloody hell, look at messages. You're only a pup. I'm 62. Bloody hell, Billy. Didn't realise you're that old. You haven't get your bus pass soon. Only joking. It's good that you're into it. I love the fact that there's so much of a variety of age involved in these groups and stuff like that. It's brilliant. That's why I love sim racing in a way. I love driving, but I love the fact that anyone can get involved, and if they're interested, they can either watch it or they can get a wheel and buy all the games, get a PC, do whatever they like, and get involved. It's not age restrictive at all, really. I've seen little kids driving around. I saw a kid, I think they were about 5 years old, on the rally game, and it was absolutely awesome. It was absolutely unbelievable. He was using the gears and handbrake and everything as well. It was like, bloody hell, better than me, and I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for more years than he's been alive. He put me to shame, so I love that about it, the fact that the age range is so wide. It's brilliant. So Steer Wheel Racing is now in first place. It's worked out well for him. Colour in second. Let's see where the action's at. We need to find some good close action to watch again. That's what I love about racing at the end of the day. I skip through quite a bit just because there isn't a lot going on quite often, but if there's some action to watch, I don't mind sticking with it. So after the pit stops, tyre strategies are going to work out slightly differently, as they've all gone on different tyres. Well, not all gone on different tyres, there's only 3 choices, but there might be some different choices for this stint in the race. Neutron Storm, for example, is on the mediums, with Damien in front of him on the mediums as well. Gumsy on the mediums. Is everyone on the mediums to prove me wrong? Yep. Steer Wheel Rear, they are as well. Oh, there you go. Burnfry's on the soft, on the brand new soft tyre on his outlap. So let's keep an eye on Burnfry with this battle in front of him going on as well. They might be slowing each other down slightly in a minute, and Burnfry will get the chance to jump these two potentially. He's got the faster tyre, and he's already won the race one round here, so he certainly knows how to put a fast lap in or two. Neutron Storm not going for a move on Damien. It's probably wise with Burnfry looming so closely behind. Gets the run out though. Neutron Storm looking for a good exit. Damien spots it early, sits to the left hand side to defend the next corner, even though it's after quite a long straight. Braking it roughly around the 100 marker, keeping it nice and clean between these two. Good driving. Good move there from Neutron as well. Actually gets the move done round the outside. Damien just being a little bit hesitant, probably just to avoid the contact, which is oh, look at that. Burnfry just diving through, straight through up into 5th. Not much defence there from Damien. It looked like there could have been a touch of contact, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I didn't see that it was definitely contact. Bit of contact there though between Neutron Storm and Burnfry. Not the bit that's just put him off track though, dare say. Oh, so he's dropped back now, and Burnfry's got through. Ended up being a little bit more unpredictable than I thought. I thought Burnfry was just going to make the most of those two battling, but bit of contact here and there after a good overtake between Neutron Storm around the outside of Damien. Good to see some good racing going on. Steer Wheel Racing in the pits now. He's already done his stint on the medium, so he might jump on the softs for his next couple of laps. It's pretty heavy on the tyre wear this track, so you can't get away with too many laps on the soft tyre. Neutron Storm's actually got a tiny bit of damage at the right rear. Burnfry fixing a little bit of front damage as he comes out of the pits now. Bill G now, is he going to get it? No, I don't think he is. Lucky Bucky in 8th, not far behind. Boomsy Bob. I mean, not far behind him either. So blue flag's been waved, so one of the leaders must be coming through. Cutler in the lead now. the lead has been held by about 5 different drivers in this race so far, so it's going to be interesting to see who actually gets it in the end. So this is Tiny Tortoise actually having to concede to Cutler coming through in the lead. Tiny Tortoise not making it that easy for him. No, he really isn't either. Thought he was going to let him go there into the last corner, but he's decided to do it afterwards. The Tiny Tortoise getting out of the way eventually, and Cutler allowed to get through. Where's Gumsy? Gumsy will soon be coming up to Tiny Tortoise as well. Look at this though. Battle for third position between Damien and Neutron Storm is still very alive. Burnfry's dropped out of this one, so Burnfry was the one that gained the advantage a couple of laps ago from the battle between these guys, and now Burnfry is back behind again, and these guys are battling for the podium. So it's a really good race so far. Can't predict any of it. Got this as well, Damien getting the push on through Neutron Storm through the first corner, and Stairwheel Racing looking to make any opportunity out of what's going on ahead now. And I dare say there might be an opportunity arise. Look at this, side by side from Neutron Storm and Damien. Neutron down the inside. Good move. Has he run it wide? Nope. Got it broke nicely. Back on the power at the right time. It's a bugger when you run it wide on that corner. Good move there from Neutron Storm. Gets into second. So Damien in third. Battling hard, these guys. You can see it in the body language of the cars. Look at that. Damien straight down the inside. Wants that place back. I don't know if there was contact there again. The camera angle not brilliant. Not showing it perfectly. Oh, lost the rear end a little bit there, Neutron Storm. And again, you think he's got dirty tyres. He'll have to get rid of those. Stairwheel Racing being very patient. He could have had a late dive then as there was a bit of oversteer going on. Look at this. It's Burnfry's right in this race now as well. So Burnfry's down the inside on the last corner. This is brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Takes 4th place off Stairwheel Racing. Must have thought, what the hell, I was battling to overtake a second ago, now just being overtaken. So Burnfry straight back into this race. Really, really good stuff. Sorry about if you're a bit further back, you might not get much coverage in this one with this stuff going on. Absolutely great stuff. Really, really good driving as well between the guys. Little touches of contact, but at the end of the day, it's motorsport. It's, you are driving quite quickly, even though it's sim racing and we're not doing it for real. Still driving quite quickly, very close together going through corners. There will be a bit of contact from time to time. Doesn't matter how good you are. But Damien now gained a little bit of a lead over Neutron Storm. Bit of a gap. Neutron Storm holding off. Burnfry behind. Burnfry looking very keen to get past. Dives down the inside. Oh, that was a brave move. I'm not quite sure I managed to get the braking done and actually stick it without going wide there. But that's impressive there from Burnfry. Got the job done nicely. And look at this as well. He's right onto the back of Damien straight away. But Burnfry making mincemeat out of coming through the field at the moment. But we did see him do this already, and then he dropped back. So, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't a pit stop either. I'm sure it was a mistake that dropped him back. There we go, he's got through up in second. Good move in the end to get that. Leaves Damien in the final podium position in third. And Neutron Storm in fourth. Neutron Storm and Damien having a battle all the way through this race so far, pretty much 14 laps. Stairwheel Racing losing out a little bit through all that. And then he's still in fifth, but he's dropped a bit of a gap. Lost 1.7 seconds through that lap as well. That's not a great lap. Gumsy in sixth, got a bit of a gap in front of him, but hell of a worry behind him. Phil G right behind him. Trying to read the chat a little bit. So Gumsy not doing a bad job at all in 7th, closing in on Phil. Not much action though, he's not really pushing for it by the look of it. Boonsy Bob just getting away, we're going a little bit wide through there. Like I mentioned already, you don't really want to be doing that, it's tricky to keep it on track. It wants to pull you out wide with understeer when you get on there. No grip at all for the front end. Mrs. Miggins not having quite as good a race as he did in race 1. In 11th position at the moment. Still, how many laps is that? 8 laps to go though, so still plenty of time to make a few position changes if the opportunity arises. Obviously if the gaps are huge it might not happen, you never know though. So look at this, once again we've got Neutron Storm and Damien side by side into the first corner. They keep battling hard into this corner. Neutron Storm getting up in second. Cutler in the pits. Will Cutler come out? Yeah, Cutler's just come out. Let's see where Cutler is actually. So it's not that far ahead of Burnfry now. Burnfry just going through the same corner there, as you see. And you can see Cutler in front. But not a huge gap, 2.3 seconds or thereabouts. Neutron Storm not that far off the lead either, really, now. 6.3 seconds off the lead, 6.4. So this is still anyone's the win potentially here. I'm not saying Cutler can't win this, because he's perfectly capable of doing, and he's in first at the moment, but the gaps aren't huge towards the top, so could all still change. The action's died off a little bit towards the top there. It was very exciting for a few laps there. I've got my heart rate going a bit. Can't tell if it got me sweaty because I was sweaty anyway. Ooh, Phil just losing the back end a little bit. Not quite settling the car down into the corner. No major issue obviously, just lost a tenth of a second probably. Ooh, going a little bit wide as well. You can run that exit curve, but it is a risky business. Look at that as well. Gumsy's got the run now because of that. So Gumsy just pulling ahead on the straight, now up into 6th. Phil should have the opportunity to pull back into the slipstream and have a chance into T1. He's not using the slipstream though. Gumsy's sticking to the inside. Gumsy's far enough ahead though to still be able to take some kind of racing line into the first corner, even though it wasn't the ideal line, but it wasn't too compromised. And he gets away with it. Nicely done, up into 6th. Good job. I'll find a moment to have a look at the chat. That's Tiny Tortoise with Burnfry in front of him. Mrs. Miggins in the pits. So, where's the action at really? Phil and Gumsy probably the closest at the moment. I do apologise if you hear me skipping through, but it's all part of it. I can't really help it. So yeah, we'll stick with Gumsy, see if we can pull a bit more of a lead on Phil G. They are our closest little pair at the moment. We'll skip a little bit further back, see if the pit stops have affected the positions a bit further back. On lap 17 now, coming towards the end with Gumsy. Cutler will already have started lap 18. God, I wish I had a bigger drink. I said drink then, not something else, by the way. No, you're very right as well, Bill, the fact that there's been racing games for forever, and that people used to buy them back in the day, that obviously probably were a little bit older than I am and a lot of other guys are, and that's what made computer games popular in the first place, to the point where we've actually got the pleasure of having so many different games on different consoles. There's almost too much choice these days. But no, you're right, it's and I like the fact that I love people like that who have played for years and years and years. My cousin's like that. I don't see him often these days, lives down in London, but he was always like the guy that had the latest console or whatever back in the day when we used to go and visit him, and it were always awesome. He was into racing games way before they were popular, and Ridge Racer springs to mind. I'm sure some of you might remember it. But yeah, he had a massive TV at the time as well. I'm talking about like 25 years ago, if not longer. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I love the fact that people are so into it that they just stick with it for decades in some cases. Waffling over, we'll get back to the race. Burnfry in the pits. Comes back out now. Ooh, Neutron Storm right behind him. Oh, not quite close enough to challenge into there. Looked like he was tempted though. Thought better of it in the end. Burnfry doing a great job. It's the tyre wear that's the difference. Burnfry's come back out on the soft tyres once again, and the mediums of Neutron Storm are pretty worn, so the tyre difference is so big that Burnfry's already gained a 2-second lead over Neutron Storm, despite the fact that they were so close on the exit of the pits. So Cutler's making up for his mistakes in race 1 here. He's having a great race in race 2, and he's currently in first place with a 12.3 second lead, so doing a good job to keep the laps coming in, to keep that kind of lead going. Still wheel racing, being quite patient to make his way through the field at times in this one, but he's finally got himself close to the podium in fourth. Damien and Gumsy, it looked like. Oh no, sorry, who was that? Oh, it's a back marker behind Damien. It's Tiny Tortoise. So Damien in 5th, but that's not someone trying to overtake him. Comes in 6th. See what else is going on. Not a lot of action at the moment to watch, really. So Burnfry's picked up damage. Someone's just mentioned in the chat had to do an extra pit stop, so that's dropped him out of contention for the lead at the moment. There's only 2 laps to go, so I dare say with that big mistake from Cutler, he's very safe with a 12-second lead. I didn't realise, I haven't really been looking at the laps, and we've got a bit carried away, so we've only got a few laps left really. Let's see the gaps that are likely or able to be closed up. Nothing really. That's probably the smallest, and it's still 5.4 seconds between Phil G and Lucky Bucky. We've got Boomsy Bob and Armin pretty close together, but at the moment Boomsy Bob's pulling a bit of a gap. Both coming towards the end of lap 20. So yeah, not a great deal of close action to follow at the moment, I'm afraid. So, in that case, we will jump on board with our leader, give him a little bit of credit, go on board with him and see how he's managing to keep this pace going. His last lap was the fastest lap at 1:30.867. So that's a good lap in the Audi R8. Building the power nice and steady through there, just letting the car do the work rather than forcing it. Interesting to see in the R8 if he has to lift through there. Yeah, a little lift. I think it's a lift in every Group 3 car through there, I believe. He's actually running pretty low on fuel, so he might need another stop if he's not careful here, Cutler. I think he's just noticed because he's losing time now to Burnfry behind, but he's got enough of a gap to be able to manage his fuel. But he is low. He's got 1 lap to go there. I'm sure he can manage it and manage to keep that gap if he's sensible enough. So let's quickly have a look through the field before we get to the end. Good couple of races for Damien tonight. G as well. Didn't start the championship right at the beginning. I think he's been with us for 2 weeks now, if I remember rightly. But not been right up there with his results, but he's certainly had some good races and had some good battles. It's been good to watch. To be honest, in this championship, Burnfry and Stir Wheel Racing are very, very hard to beat. In a league of their own almost, pace-wise, they're very, very quick. And I think they spend quite a bit of time doing the setup each week as well for the tracks, which goes a long way to getting those lap times and being consistent. Anyway, we must be very close towards the end of the lap now for Cutler. Here we go, crossing the line, finishing first. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Managed to save the fuel enough to finish in the end. Burnfry in second. Another good result for Burnfry. Didn't quite manage the 2 wins tonight, but managed to win in race 1, second in race 2. Very respectable results. Look at this as well. We've got Stir Wheel Racing in third and Neutron Storm right behind him in fourth. Just coming over the line together. Damien in fifth in the end. Gumsy coming through the last corner, the last fast kink before the straight in sixth. Not far behind either, we have Phil. Nice handbrake there. Phil a bit late with his handbrake. Lucky Bucky in 8th. So it's been absolutely brilliant tonight. Hopefully, guys that have joined me, you've really enjoyed that. As much as I have anyway. I really thoroughly enjoyed that tonight. I really enjoyed it. Not every race is guaranteed to be exciting, but we had quite a lot of excitement in that one. There we go, we've got Boonsy Bub. Finished it in the end. It's finished in the end, sorry, before I got a chance. I'll go to the results in a second. So congratulations once again to Cutler winning the second race of round 8 of the NxtGen Racing Team vs Team Championship Group 3, sponsored by Team Oliver Racing and Excite Energy Drinks. I quite like saying all that now, I don't know why. Right, where am I going? Results. So, just to finish out the results, Lucky Bucky was in 8th, Boonsy Bob was in 9th, Armin was in 10th, and Mrs. Miggins was in 11th, Tiny Tortoise was in 12th in the end. So, that finishes that. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to hit that like button. It helps me out. If you haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe as well. And I will see you again next week. Cheers guys for joining me. I'm going to leave it at that. My voice is about to go altogether. And yeah, once again, cheers for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And see you again next week. Take care. Bye for now.